how did you come to these, insights? Like, okay, what challenges, if you want to use some examples, and then what regulatory challenges did you face that, okay, because the UAE is evolving so quickly, and you notice some things, you can notice some things around the corner based on your experience, and then even then, there are some things that come up without, unexpectedly.
Yeah.
And because the region is such that the culture is here, that things evolve very quickly because it's a dynamic environment, emerging market.
Agreed.
So how would you say that, what are the tools or the processes required to, look around the corners? What is the mindset, or what is the process? And if you are not able to look around and something comes up, what is the best way to tackle it?
I agree. See, tax has always been there in the region. Since I've lived nearly all my life over here, I have seen international shared service centers over here, hubs over here, whereby, regional offices have been catering to international taxes. Like the oldest tax being in the region, if you look in GCC, is Saudi Arabia. The tax has been there, zakat system has been there, corporate income tax, then withholding tax has also been there as well also. So much has been learned from these regions, and even UAE has been also been a hub for most of the African countries as well also, like Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, all have been dealt over here. So tax isn't new to this region, I wouldn't say that. But the thing is, the mindset, that the way the processes and the systems have been set up in this region have been set up like for, let's say, corporate purposes, management purposes, but does it cater to the single man who is like a one-man show in himself, who is like running the business, who is doing the bookkeeping, who's doing the day-to-day work as well, also dealing with his employees as well. Then you have regulatory compliances, and then all of a sudden you have a new thing. Let's say VAT was introduced in 2018, and that also till to date, businesses are still evolving and learning. And then all of a sudden we have corporate income tax coming in 2020 towards the end of 2023. So that's a new regulatory requirement which is there. With respect to processes and tools, I will ask my colleague Harpreet if he can speak a little bit more about that, since he is more close to compliance side.
So definitely, Mayu, the major challenges which as of now the entrepreneurs and for the companies which are getting is that they are having a poor record keeping. So as we all aware that in UAE it's a tax haven country, right? So VAT was applicable only in 2018. After that, people are learning a lot of things. So still they are at the learning phases. So exactly they are not recording. Their record keepings are not as up to date. Apart from that, there is a lack of awareness in them. So they want to learn the things, but yes, as FT has introduced certain guides, workshops, and everything, still, if we are checking at the base level, so we found that there is a lack of awareness for the taxes. So which is businessman is not taking care of all the tax compliances as of now.
Mhm.
So which result them for the delay in the registration process.
Yes.
So as I saw in the market in last couple of months, there are n number of companies which are not registered for CAT yet. So and there are companies which register very late and they got fine and penalties for the late registrations. So these when we are going through with these kind of examples, so definitely the thing is that they have to get updated as per the economy, as per the law, as per the FTA. So another challenge is that they are very much confused about the cross-border transactions like imports and exports. So they don't are very well versed with all the details, all the requirements as of now.
Yeah.
Which lead them to pay a number of penalties for the custom tax apart from the VAT returns and all.
Yeah, let me just add a little bit over here to what Harpreet said is, most of the entrepreneurs, the businesses, let's say family-owned businesses over here, which are there, they have a lot of their factories. The main manufacturing which is happening is, let's say, in the regional countries because it costs them cheaper. Or let's say they are importing, some raw material from China. The thing is, it's very important that they need to know that what are the import duty, custom duties which are going to be imposed on them, how they need to structure that into their pricing. Gone are the days that you just used to issue some random invoice to your customers, or you're receiving random invoices from your vendors. It's very important that FTA is having a lot of awareness sessions, but how are these entrepreneurs, capturing that information? Do they have the time, the right time to absorb this knowledge, then implement it as well, and then to see that, are they complying when they're filing their VAT returns? And the same goes for CIT as well, also, even with their record keeping as well, also, because the thing is that these business people, they won't have that much time to focus on the tax compliances and record keeping. It could be random people in the team, or it could be their unskilled labor who is gathering the invoices on the day-to-day basis. Does he have a central database or a place where he can even file those invoices on a day-to-day basis? He isn't aware about all these things. But then the issue is, currently the setup cost which he is going to be facing, it's very high, and it's not possible. If he's going to make a minimum profit monthly out of his business, the compliance cost which is going to cost him is going to be very expensive. He cannot afford an expert professional. If I talk about a mediocre consultant also, he cannot even afford that also as well. So currently the entrepreneur in the market, he is aware about, there are tools like Zuhu, QuickBooks, but he doesn't have that knowledge or the time to even learn how to operate these things. Obviously, then he will rely on, cheap consultants. So when we talk about such consultants, they can do the day-to-day compliances for a minimum fees. But the thing is, now with the introduction of CIT, it's very important that your financial records, your financial statements, your VAT data, your CIT data are all interrelated. They are all speaking with each other. There is integration. Let me give you a small example. Like, let's say WPS system. That's a mandatory requirement that every labor force has to have a WPS system, which he can open through an exchange as well also. But the thing is that WPS data should exactly flow into your financial statements, your CIT as well also, so that tomorrow if the tax authorities come and ask you that, okay, show me the proof that as per your contract you are paying a certain amount to your labor for which you have taken a deduction in your corporate tax, is that your valid labor? Yes, here is the contract. Then are you paying him the exact amount which is showing in your contract as the WPS which you are registered through the exchange? So all this integration, that businessman, that entrepreneur will not have at his back end. So currently there is a need in the market to have an integrated software which has everything in it, so that a layman is just focusing on the business in the day-to-day task, and he's just with minimum effort he is just keying in the data like normally he is doing, and at the back end all the through the integration, your financial records, your compliance, everything is being done on a day-to-day basis. So that is something which there is a lot of talk in the market, but do we have a tool currently in the market? I don't see that. There are a lot of financial records maintenance tools, there is a lot of tax softwares, financial softwares as well also. An entrepreneur does not have time at the moment to go into all of these things.
Can you explain a little bit about CIT I'm not familiar with that jargon.
Surely.
So I'm aware of WPS, which is a wage protection system. It's meant for monitoring and compliance
Yeah.
of, people. There were a lot of issues with delayed wages and all that. That's fine. It's serving a purpose, but now it has to be linked with the overall financial health and compliance
Yep.
data points of the whole country, and it makes sense. I'm not sure how much API connectivity is there or how much data sharing is available on the WPS side. That's another matter. But the CIT, can you just quickly explain to people what does it mean? What's the
So
scope?
CIT is a short form for corporate income tax. As I said, majority of the entrepreneurs in the market over here, let's talk about Westerns, Asians, Europeans. They already come from places where corporate income tax has already been there, payroll taxes, sales tax, VAT. So the thing is, how it works in UAE, the way the MOF, Ministry of Finance, has incorporated the law, it's in a very, very simple manner as compared to other jurisdictions. It's not at all complex. And the way it works is that you are declaring your taxable, you start from your accounting income as per your financial records, your financial statements. There's a certain threshold of 375,000 dirhams. If you exceed that threshold, your taxable income would be subject to corporate income tax rate at 9%, which is the least rate as compared to any other current country from my experience so far I've seen. But the thing is that the way you're going to present the financial data in your corporate tax return, most of the usual deadline for filing the corporate tax return is 30th September 2025. Tax went live from 2024 onwards. There are numerous steps for businesses, for individuals to do the CIT registration as well also. And as Harpreet explained clearly, that it's very important for an entrepreneur to know that what are his compliances. Corporate tax is also going to be one of that. And what are the filing deadlines as well also. So it's very important for him to know all this stuff. But the thing over here which I would like to highlight is the way FTA is taking every businessman, be it an individual, be a corporate, it's a journey in itself. I have so far not seen any other jurisdiction who has taken a taxpayer through this journey. There are various awareness sessions happening, videos, trainings, seminars happening as well also. So the thing is, no longer, I know still there is a lot of news going on the social media that free zone is a tax-free haven, a tax-free region. People can operate in that as well also. But there are certain criteria. I will not go to the length of what those criteria are. But the thing is again that for a person to ensure that on a self-assessment basis, which he is declaring his financial data, is that right? And as I gave you an example of WPS system, that's just a small grain in the, I would say a big milestone which the FTA is trying to achieve over here is that does a businessman understand his financial data himself? And how is he going to present it? Is he going to do it in-house or is he going to do it through an advisor? So my suggestion over here is that even if, you are going to hire somebody to do your tax compliances, it's still very important that you yourself know what data is going into your CIT return. You don't have to be an expert in order to understand. It's your business, because see, tomorrow if the tax authorities come to you to ask about what your business is on which you have paid taxes, to show the records and everything, you should be well aware that where my financial records are, where my financial data is. So it's again comes to the same thing, is that we are going through a journey, a history in itself, whereby the tax authorities themselves are taking you through step-by-step process of registration, of compliance requirements, record keeping, bookkeeping, how it should be, the integration and everything. But again, it comes to the same thing. Does a businessman has time in today's fast dynamic environment where there is so much changes happening globally? Does he have time to keep track of all this tax compliances himself?
I just want to add
Yeah.
one thing over here. Like many founder or entrepreneurs found that tax compliance is once a year obligation, but however, the reality is that compliance is a continuous process. Like CIT, we know that our deadline is 30th September of 2024 for the first return. But yes, for the whole year, we have to do n number of tasks to complete that return. So we have to prepare all the record keeping, we have to prepare all the schedules, everything, every figure which we are going to mention in the return, we need underline proper audit trail for that data.
Agreed.
So this is what every entrepreneur has to be clear, so that in going future they can avoid penalties from the government.
How big is the problem, as in meaning the size of the market, and how much time do you think they need to catch up, or at least start to catch up?
See, if I will, from my example, what I have seen, I'm not going to even talk about corporates here. I'm just going to be talking about small businessmen. Currently, a businessman, if he is doing his compliance from an external party, uh, external consultant, not even a high-end consultant, he himself is not even aware about how to log into his portal as well. Also, he doesn't know his username and password as well. So that's where entrepreneur himself needs to start getting involved in the tax compliance process. And what Harpreet said is rightly, it's not just a one man or communication channel. It's tax has a touch point at each and every step. So let's say, for example, you are getting an invoice from your vendors, and he is not giving you a tax compliant invoice. He does not have your company name mentioned on the invoice. He's just giving you a raw bill or a raw invoice. So it's your duty to ask him that, see, I am a corporate tax registered company. I need to ensure that I need to have a tax compliant invoice on which I can claim the input VAT which I'm paying to you. I can also claim this as a deduction, because tomorrow the authority is going to challenge me and say that prove to me that this is not your personal expense. Is it a business expense? You can show him that, okay, see, this is a table or some screws which I have purchased for my business. That's fine. He knows that you have purchased, but have you been compliant? Have you done the right thing? So here, even if I leave the tax aside, we are talking about basic governance requirements over here, which if you see, you will see in the shops everywhere that these are your rights as a consumer. So has the other person met your right? So I'm not even talking about here tax. So tax doesn't speak different language at all. It's speaking the same language, what your financial regulatory standards talk about. Here if I talk about IFRS, International Financial Reporting Standards, International Accounting Standards as well also. So as I told you earlier, for my experience, like Harpreet and me, we have both done, we have worked in various functions. We have done payables, we have done, receivables, intercompany. We have prepared even financial statements as well also. The underlying challenge which we have seen in this region is that it's the basic bookkeeping, the way it has been developed, because tax was never there. So let's say even if you follow Zoho, QuickBooks, SAP, Oracle, all these systems, ERP systems, have inbuilt tax functionalities. But the thing is, you have a tool. I'm in front of this mic, I'm speaking. This mic's use is that it has to, amplify my voice, it has to record it properly. So I know what its purpose is. So if I just go and purchase a tool in the market and I don't know how to use that tool, or what basic data do I need to put into that tool, how am I going to get a better result? So the underlying thing is the awareness sessions, the training. As the business is going through, this region is going through a change, so does the people in it have to uplift themselves. Gone are the days when you can just record a debit or a credit, you can have an invoice, you can just throw it anywhere. No, now you need to store them. There is a statute of limitation that you need to have your records for 5 years, 7 years, you need to store them. And the thing is, if we talk about corporate governance requirements, when a business goes to renew its license, these regulatory requirements have always been there, but the thing is they have never been practiced. That's the main challenge. Now it's not like the talk in the market that, oh, okay, because of tax I need to now increase my financial record management system, I need to improve my database, I need to bring in a new software. No, these have already been there. So it's now up to an entrepreneur, up to a business, up to a financial advisor to ensure that a 360 health check is being done. So my suggestion to an entrepreneur to understand the challenges which he is facing is to do an immediate health check. Still there is time to ensure that are you ready for filing an accurate return. And as Harpreet said, that there should be a complete audit trail to your financial record. So just a simple question, if you're sitting anywhere in the world, just ask yourself, do I have a piece of paper also to prove the data which I'm going to be declaring for my VAT purpose or my corporate income tax purposes?
So in a simple way, I can say that staying compliant in the UAE is crucial for the businesses.
Yes.
and especially with evolving regulations and the strong focus on the transparency. So over here, I just want to give 5 steps or 4 steps which every entrepreneur has to follow, so that they can be a tax compliant at least. So first is that to get registration of every tax compliances on time, and after that you have to automate your bookkeeping with any good ERP or a tax tool. And then definitely, according to your business, you have to appoint a dedicated tax advisor, which will help you to solve the complex transaction which you are facing in your daily day-to-day business activities. So apart from that, I suggest every entrepreneur that you have to be stay updated with all, like you have to attend FTS workshops, webinars, everything. So at least you have a structure of that compliances, which you can help your hired persons to get them fulfilled. So apart from that, please prepare a proper audits, so that you will come to know about the criticality of your businesses. So by following these 4 or 5 steps, at least you should be covering up 95% of your risk.
Yeah.
So that's pretty action oriented. Now, what I'm thinking is that the larger companies which have the $100,000 is the mark. You said 375K AED revenue,
Yeah.
Revenue will bring you in the net. Now, probably there are the companies which are just falling under this. They might be struggling with resource issues. They might be struggling with staffing issues. They cannot afford to pay the right people, or
Yes.
they're just emerging in that bracket. How do they, because anyone, okay, the people with the most amount of resources can pay someone or get someone, outsource someone like you or anyone. But what about those SMBs, the small businesses who are just emerging, medium sized, not only medium, I think they're early small businesses.
Yes.
How can we help them? How can we help them basically, what is their action plan? Because they have limited resources,
Yes.
even though let's say they have the knowledge or they understand which direction to go.
Yeah.
What is the actionable what's the actionable items pathway for them?
So the start point for them, for the small and medium, is definitely the good bookkeeping. So they have to buy a good ERP solution, which at least solve their 40 to 50% of their headache. So if you are having a good ERP, then definitely you can hire at least a normal accountant who can record all your transaction on a daily basis. So like a good ERP will give you outline structure, like a proper TB and the audit trail.
Yeah.
So on that basis, if at the file time of the compliance, if we give those details to the respective advisor, so he can prepare the proper tax compliant return. So this is the basic step they have to take it. If I have seen in the market that there are a lot of entrepreneurs which are currently using the Excel in order to do the record keeping.
Yeah.
So data is a big challenge for them as of now. So at least, because see, even I am not saying that they are wrong somewhere, because for the VAT, at least the requirement is if your threshold is 375,000, then you are going to do the registration.
Yeah.
But for the corporate tax, if you are a limited liability company, you have to be registered and you have to go for the filing. So till 2023, people are in the same mindset. Okay, we are not eligible for the VAT registration, so it's record keeping, we don't require it. But at least for CIT, they have to do it. So there is lack of awareness among them. So they have to get updated for these things. So now they are not anymore in the tax haven country.
Yeah.
But yes, that is not for their cutting their profits, but that it's a benefit for their benefit only.
I'll just like to add a couple more things over here. It's basically the mindset of the business owners have to start changing now. They have to start thinking about that, I need to pay a 9% corporate tax. Even so, the thing over here is what you exactly said, Muzammil, that let's say, for example, even if an LLC company, he has to register for tax and he doesn't meet the threshold of 375,000, he has to declare that in the same manner in his books. And the way the CIT return has been, formatted, automatically it will calculate that, okay, you don't have to pay any liability. But again, the thing comes over here that does today even he has a bill or a proper record to prove that the expenses which he has incurred, are they really for his business purposes? So it's not just keying in the data anymore. You have 5 years till, let's say, for example, if you are going to file your return for 24 and 25, I have till 29. The tax authorities can come and do a field visit and say to me that, okay, prove to me that, you have 10-15 employees. Are these employees? You have this furniture for which you are claiming depreciation expense. Is this, do you have valid records? You will say, oh, I acquired this furniture in 2018. Do you expect me to have those billings now? Yes, you should have them with you. That's why you are being allowed to take the benefit of that depreciation cost. So again, it's not just tax is just a tick on the box or check that, okay, I've done a compliance. Now you need to ask the right questions. Do I have the right manpower? Do I have the right knowledge with me? Do I have the right mindset to ensure that I can declare this amount as a deductible expense for my corporate income tax purposes? Then do I need to have the right ERP system with me? Do I have the right ERP system? Do I need to do the proper configuration for it? And then, okay, can I manage this on my own, or do I need to have a compliance tool which is has all the functionality in itself? Otherwise, I need to hire, let's say, for example, small businesses do not have a requirement today to have the financial statements audited, but still I have seen cases whereby businesses are just filing CIT returns without financial statements, and the authorities are coming back and asking them, okay, prove to me that how have you declared this amount. So you need to have a starting basis somewhere, your financial statements. So currently, again, I would reiterate the words which I said earlier, that there is a strong need in the market to have a software tool which is an all-rounder, which has everything at a click of a button, which gives has a dashboard, so that a businessman on the go, he can see, okay, these are my due dates, these are my compliance, these are my up-to-date status of my financial data. This is where my data is stored, central repository, a OneDrive or something like that. Then are my compliances all integrated? If I'm taking a deduction for an import item, do I have the right customs documents to prove to the authorities? Have I claimed the import VAT on it? So all of these questions are there in the businessman's mind. And today, every businessman, what is he doing is he's looking for a one platform, a one shop where he can go and he can get a tool which helps him to meet all his compliance requirements. So if you ask me, is this tool available in the market today? No, I wouldn't say. There isn't anything. There are bits and pieces, but it's very difficult at the moment to bring all of these compliance tools together. Maybe in the future.
The threat of the audit. I've heard it all my life. The US IRS, people are scared of it. You get audited, and the US can even come and audit you here. If you are operating, if you are a US person. So is the UAE tax authority, as people are as fearful of them as the US IRS? Is that not there yet? Meaning that do their reach extend deep into your business? Why I'm saying is that let's describe the consequences of not being compliant and not paying attention and being maybe lazy or being ignorant. What is the consequences, the scope of the consequences?
See, from my experience, what I have seen is, a tax audit, just like a layman's term. Let's say, for example, I'll give you an analogy. You do something new in your house, or you bring something, new in your house. Obviously, your kids will ask a lot of questions. What is the purpose of this? Why have you bought it? What am I going to, how can I use it? What are we going to, use it for? What is the purpose of? All these things will come in his mindset. So same, we have to take it in a layman's term, how the tax authorities are going to be thinking as well about your business. They know at the front end, they have seen your trade license, they know, okay, these are your activities, but how are you going to demonstrate to them that, I am ready for an audit at any point of time? It's not like, when they come at your door, they will give you like 5 days to get ready for it, and then you are running like a headless chicken. Okay, where is my financial data, where are my records, what do I need to do? You won't get the energy and the time at that point. So again, the thing is, from my experience, what I've seen is an audit not only impacts your business, it also impacts your name as well, also in that region as well also. So tomorrow, let's say for example, you are going to build a chain of multinational activities, or you're going to have a conglomerate. How are you going to substantiate that? Because at the end, you have set up a precedent in the tax authorities mindset that this guy doesn't have proper financial records. They will come and keep on asking you the same repetitive questions unless and until they see the improvement. But the thing is, as Harpreet said earlier, that improvement doesn't come all of a sudden. It comes over a period of time. See, from other jurisdictions, like what I've seen is that more complex. Let's say for example, Saudi, whereby if you are not meeting your audit requirements, or you are not helping or assisting them with the audits, they will seize your office. They will even put a they will shut down your labor files as well also. So you cannot issue any new visas, or even renew your employees visa, current employees visa as well also. So the risks are very huge. And then the thing is, they can also put you in high risk taxpayers, low, medium, they can put you in those categories as well also. So it has a very deep impact. Today, an entrepreneur might be thinking, oh, okay, I have 5 days, I can manage it. 5 years, I can manage it. But no, compliance starts from today. From the day the tax law has been introduced towards 2020, the end of 2023, when it was introduced, that's when, you have to have the mindset that I need to now start preparing from how the authorities are going to be thinking. Not, see, in most of the other complex jurisdictions, we have seen that businesses build a relationship with the authorities which is long lasting and it can be managed. But GCC countries, it doesn't work that way. You have to prove to them that your financial data speaks for itself. So the risk, it's like, you might see that the issue is just smaller at the tip of the ice, but there is a bigger story beneath the iceberg, I would say that. And it's up to businesses how they are going to represent themselves in front of the tax authorities. You have your CIT return, you have your VAT return, which is going to speak for itself. And believe you me that, I have seen scenarios whereby, when tax authorities come, they don't even allow to speak you, or to even explain your situation as well also. They know everything, but are your financial records speaking the manner they should be? I'll give you an example. Let's say, for example, you have to put your payroll and wages in a certain bucket, but just because your financial statements is showing it in some other, let's say with your utilities, you have shown it erroneously, and you went ahead and declared that same over there. It's a business expense. So tax authorities accept that. But what have you done? You have presented it wrongly. So then the thing comes over here, you will say, oh, I was not aware about it. My advisor or my tax consultant or my bookkeeper, he made a mistake. Tax authorities are not going to accept this. They are going to penalize you for this. Just what Harpreet said, there are many businesses, small businesses still, who are of the mind view that I will not come in the tax authorities' radar. And believe me, just for not registering, CIT registering, there is a penalty of 10,000 dirhams. So that's a huge amount. Maybe he's not generating that much revenue even for a month as well also. So how is he going to manage to pay that?
And in a nutshell, I'm completely agree with the Humayun on this. In a nutshell, I am just want to say that tax authorities of UAE, people are thinking that they are not mature, but as per our understanding, they are well matured. They can sense from your return. They can compare your last return and for this month return or this particular period return, and they can sense it, what errors you are doing. So we have seen the situations where they are exactly poking on the right spot where they need to.
Yep.
So at they are this much mature, and in UAE especially they are giving only 5 days to give the response. Strictly 5 working days.
Yeah.
If you are able to respond within 5 days, good enough. Otherwise, they are starting their process.
Yeah.
So in order to prepare for such answers, definitely you have to understand your business. You have to be a proper audit trail of your every transaction. You have to be tax compliant invoices, whatever you are claiming it. So you have to be proper segregation of all the services, like it is exempt, it is a standard rated, it is a zero rated. So you have to be properly segregated all your transaction, and definitely with the proper backup, which I am saying that the backup is invoices, or like for the import, all the import documentation, for the export, all the export documentation. So everything you have to be proper filing and in your records.
Yep.
So that when they are coming and asking you the any particular sample check, you have the answer for those.
Yep.
So let's focus on the input of the data. You mentioned that okay, there needs to be a tool, but what I hear from this conversation is that if you don't have the skilled people entering the right data in the first place, if your accounts are not pristine, or even not pristine, let's say they are not even what they require, is that because of a skills gap? Is that because of the quality of the talent in the market? Where is the gap? I mean, where is the area of improvement? Because all I see here is that unless that is the starting chain, that's the starting point, if the people who are not managing the accounts and financial records are not capturing the data, and let's say even if you capture it, you misrepresent it because of lack of training or for whatever reason, what is the state of the talent market in the UAE? Because I believe that whatever tool you have, that tool will suffer, because as long as it doesn't get the right data,
Agreed.
you can. I mean, that is a variable that's the labor market. That's the skill gap is there. So what is the skill gap? How to plug that skill gap? How to train up the people on the basics of it so they take it seriously.
Yeah.
Historically, the thing is that people were doing the record keeping only for their records, only to measure their profit. So they have nothing to do with the compliance. It's before 2018. Still, after 2018, when the VAT was implicated, so people start getting matured, especially the big organization and all. But still, the small entrepreneurs, they don't want to, part of that particular change. So there was the gap. So and more or less there are freelancers in the market which are misguiding these small entrepreneurs. That is our biggest hindrance as of now we are facing. People with the half knowledge are guiding these people, and when you are getting a wrong tax advice, wrong information, definitely. So being, if I am a businessman, right, so my focus is to do the business. For the tax compliance, yes, definitely it's my duty. But if I am not well educated for the tax compliance, definitely I will hire some person. But if you are getting a wrong tax advice and wrong knowledge from a person who you hired it, that is the challenge which they are currently facing. So answer to your question is that how this skill has to be managed. See, I have seen there are n number of good skill set, because people mostly expats are there which are coming from the countries which very matured tax countries which they are coming. So like since birth they are dealing with the taxes and everything, they are seeing it. So yes, skill set is there, but the thing is to find the proper talent for your organization is definitely a good choice.
I'd like to add something more over here. The other thing what I've seen is that there is a big disconnect between finance and tax teams. The problem what I see over here is a tax professional has to take a lead over here, because the thing is how the finance reporting has been structured over here in I would say especially in GCC, it's more of management reporting. The financials which are being prepared as well also are prepared for how corporates want to see it, how your shareholders want to see it. There are uh, different, I would say, presentations and disclosures being done in the financial statements. And UAE is the only country which I have seen is that which has given an option, and currently MOF has also come up with a clarification that certain rules are going to be coming out with respect to how tax related, corporate income tax related financial statements are going to be prepared as well. But the question again comes over here is, as Harpreet clearly said, is the mindset, the requirement. Does a financial reporting person know that what purpose a tax professional is going to use his financial statements? So the thing over here is that, we need to do a backward working over here. It's not, I would say, there is, yes, the training, the awareness sessions, the learning is there, but it is a two-way traffic which both the teams have to achieve together to ensure that I'm building an audit trail and I'm doing a right declaration of each and every amount which is going to go in the corporate income tax return through the financial statements. So the financial statement is going to be your go-to place, which then if you look backwards is going to lead to your source data. So have you developed that audit trail, that workflow? Have you developed that? Have you tested that thoroughly, rigorously? That have you challenged it to the end limit? Be it an entrepreneur, be it a corporate, whomsoever, has that been done? That is very, very important. The thing over here is that your financial data which is going to go into your corporate income tax return should speak for itself. So no matter how much good professionals you bring in, no matter how much good software or ERP system you have, are you looking at the big picture? Have you done the 360 check, and have you covered all the risks, and have you rigorously gone through each and every requirement in the law to ensure that am I doing the right thing? Have you asked yourself that question? Because again, the thing over here is your CIT return, your VAT return is all going on a self-assessment basis. There is no live mechanism currently whereby you have an integrated tool which is directly feeding in things to the tax authorities portal, and auto-populated data is going in through your VAT, CIT. We have not reached that stage at the moment.
Is there an industry support group within the UAE, within the MENA region, or let's say Dubai, where there are the people like you are helping each other to grow together, or is the tax authorities are doing any workshopping with the leaders in your space to talk to them, to streamline the process and improve the situation so that it's a win-win thing. It's not like us against them.
It's a $1 million question which you have asked, and as I told you earlier, also tax is not something new in the region. It's always been there. Lessons have been learned everywhere, and UAE being the less complex region, so people know what the authorities are going to be asking them. They should have already anticipated what the risks and exposures are. And as with respect to groups and everything which you just said, there are talks happening at various platforms and everything, but the thing what I don't see in the market currently is a central hub or a go-to place whereby you can say that, okay, openly I would say that this is the challenge which I have faced in, let's say, during my customs, and these are the implications. So this is how the solution which I have developed, maybe it can apply to your business as well also. So that is something which is not being openly spoken about in the market. Yes, lessons learned are being shared, but how are these going to imply your business, or how are these going to have a tax impact on your business, or what are the challenges you are facing to ensure that I develop the right thing or I have the right audit trail? So far, I haven't seen those platforms at all.
How are the lessons shared? Like, let's say I'm just starting out. How do I find how do I avoid, like, okay, some things, like you said, it's been shared. Is there certain people who are writing about it, blogging about it? Of course,
Yes.
we are one of the forums at this point.
Yes.
Someone might listen to us and hopefully, feel hopeful and, enthusiastic and, going towards the right solution.
Yes.
And what else is there?
See, the thing is, currently there isn't, I would say, live examples being shared. There are like certain sectors which have, formed, let's say, LinkedIn groups, WhatsApp groups, or some private groups as well also. But see, the thing over here is, there are different layers within the tax profession as well also. You have the strategists, you have the tactical people, and then you have the implementers. I would say the operational line, the front line. So the thing is, how does that lesson learned, from the strategists reach to the operational people? That is very important. I don't see any platform that brings there are platforms, which the consultants do have workshops, seminars, which brings the strategists together. But what about the operational staff who are going to implement these who are facing these challenges on the day to day? They have a lot of knowledge, they have a lot of experience, they have a lot of data. We are talking about people who are, your frontman people who are doing your day to day bookkeeping. Are they even aware about these tax touch points? Are they even aware about, what integration a procurement guy has to do with a finance person, or a finance person has to do with an IT person? That level of knowledge exchange is required. Unfortunately, I don't see any such platform which brings such operational people together. There is a need in the market. There is a demand as well also, but nobody is catering to it at the moment.
I have noticed one instance where the Biosilicon Oasis has a DTech, the startup community they have. They recently did a tax thing, and they do other things as well, plus tax related events.
Yep.
And they are networking plus a seminar type format. Nice space, people are working there. So far, I've only seen them. I'm sure maybe others are doing it, but so far the Silicon Oasis DTech people are very active so far.
But as per my understanding is, all the tax professionals, they are having their own network, right?
Yeah.
So they're discussing in their own network areas. Whatever the challenge, like I suppose I am just having some issue with the current return. So let's talk about some import issue I faced. So definitely in my network, if I am having some other tax professional, definitely I will call them and I'll share that this is the issue which I am facing. So together we can take a decision. But after the, completing that issue, solving that issue, and when it is through with the process, so we didn't found any difficulty over there. So definitely that example will be aware of all those tax profession internally. But yes, at a platform level, there is no such mistakes. Like we can say the tracker is not there at a platform level, but
Yeah.
FTA is issuing a basic guidelines, basic policies, procedures, everything, webinars, seminars, they are doing it. But for the practical example, I am think that there are certain mistakes which need to be added on those, which will help them. See, for the corporate, definitely they have a professionals, right? For the small entrepreneurs,
There isn't any.
they are struggling because of this information.
Yeah, there is see, the thing is, we can say over here, he's a one-man show. So he is somebody who is like 24/7 on his shop, running everything, doing the data entry as well, also managing refilling his stock as well, also dealing with the customers. So I don't see, I would say like shop to shop awareness sessions happening out at all with such people. Let's say if he's a grocery man, a laundry person, or like a technician as well also, I don't see that level of awareness being reaching out to him. He's eager, he wants to do the right thing, but my fear is that person is sitting at a bigger risk today, and he doesn't know, all of a sudden tomorrow he might get a huge penalty which he isn't aware about, which he is like, okay, where did this come from? Okay, it was there, but nobody informed me.
No, I mean, it's a clear sign that maybe this is a starting point. Maybe Mira FM can set up
Yes.
a forum for one of the forums for speaking, where professionals like you and we can set up a structure where, okay, you come and meet, you discuss the issues, and then that could be a starting point where there could be a public tracker, as you said. Let's as an industry help these people. Maybe a support internal structure, to help them that so that they're not struggling. You might say, hey, we can help you free of cost until this point. but that after this point it becomes complex and you
Yeah.
need to hire people. And I also see that just like in the West, they have certifications, and someone cannot just give tax advice
Yes.
freely, and there's a legal liability around it. That's why they're scared of even talking. Say your
Yes.
tax to your tax. That needs to happen so that the ads around the industry are regulated, that you cannot say unless. And the real estate industry has something similar, that there's a broker license.
Yeah.
So there needs to be a licensed, and plus oversight, plus the advertising around it needs to
Yeah.
be strictly regulated.
Yeah, see, I will say over here is that yes, the fear factor is there. You're discussing about somebody else's risk, and you're giving him the solution which you have found out. So it also then depends upon the other person who is absorbing the lesson which you have learned. It's not that just he goes and outright applies it. Okay, somebody by name saying that has given me this solution and it didn't work for me. See, it's again, we're talking here about each and every sector has its own requirements. The law clearly states that so okay, here is how, if it will take you like 20-30 hours to work on it, I've given you a solution which has taken me also the same amount of time, but it can help you save that time. But now it's up to you. You see and test whether it fits your business or not. If it doesn't, again, it's like, okay, we can come and we can have a roundtable conference and see, okay, it doesn't apply to me, so how can we mold it? So that's the learning which we are talking about here. I totally agree with you. Even tax professional advice is regulated, be in any country as well. But then here comes that, that we are only sharing, lessons which we have learned, challenges which we have faced. So again, I would say that, there is lot of things that can be learned in the tax environment. It's so much dynamic still. Every single day, or not even day, I will say hours, there are new tax law changes coming in the market, which, believe me, if a person like me also starts going through the tax law, it becomes very difficult to digest. And then at the back end of your mind, you'll be thinking, okay, what impact does it have on my business? How do I give an advice to an entrepreneur or a corporate as well also? And then the other thing comes is that how are you going to have your setup done in the ERP system as well also, or look at whether I'm going to manage this through Excels or some other modes or means. So it's a I would suggest that, and I would highly recommend that there needs to be a platform where operational people can correct as well also.
So in closing, what would be your actionable advice for the person who is maybe about to enter the space, as in like about to be caught in the net, and then he's just caught in the net and he's struggling.
Yeah.
And then of course the corporates have different. So 1, 2, 3. So the emerging, the early, and during and later. So what would be both of your closing thoughts on that?
So my thought over here would be that even if it's an entrepreneur or a corporate or somebody who's entering the market as well also, he should be familiar. He should know what are his compliance requirements of his specific business, what are the deadlines, and from that he needs to be not that much into the law, but at least he should know the basics. I would suggest reach out to some advisor who can understand your business, help you understand as well, also sit with you, maybe come to your place, visit it as well, also do a health check as well also, and tell you, okay, what are the weaknesses on your businesses, how can you convert those into strengths and opportunities, and then from there see that what are the next steps, what planning can we do. It's a journey which both of them have to go together.
How can they assess the advisor? So poor guy doesn't know. How can they assess the advisor?
See, that's where, as clearly Harpreet said, it's up to the business. If they just want to do the compliance today, they just want to do the filing of the return, you have people who can do that also. But then if you are planning for a complete audit trail, a 360-degree audit where you can have a peace of mind that at any point of time during the 5-year tenure, the tax authorities can come in and they can ask me, I can be able to produce that single source of document. So he needs to work with the advisor to ensure that is there something which can be developed for him, bespoke for him, or is there something which can be, sourced from the market, a tool or something which he can be trained to do? So that's again a journey in itself. But here the thing is that tax is going to stay. It's not going anywhere. It's going to evolve. Okay, so you have to evolve yourself as well. Also, an entrepreneur, a corporate has to first learn itself and ensure that it has the right people around him to support as well, also at any point of time.
Basically, if they can go for the reverse engineering,
Yes.
in a simple term.
Start with the basics.
Yeah, so reverse engineering means like, definitely the businessman, his main focus is to do the business and earn money. Okay, so that's the first point. But for the compliance side, they have to take care, okay, what all the compliances are there in the jurisdiction which they are going to do the business. So by taking care of all the compliances, they will go back from last to first, Z to A. It's not a to Z.
Yeah.
So in that way, he will, capture most of their risks and he will grow. So also I just want to say that think of compliance as a protection, not a punishment.
Yes.
So it's what keep you audit ready and investor friendly.
I think you said rightly, because Stephen Covey said the same thing, that keep the end in mind, so
Yes.
that you talk to your audience, focus on the audience, what they want, and then the answers will come quickly. And
Definitely.
thank you very much, Humayun and Harpreet,
No,
coming
thank
to
you.
Thank
Business
you.
FM studios and talking about this very important topic. I think people are struggling on this. It might seem maybe a dry subject to some people, but it's a necessary, very critical thing, because it'll effectively, like you said, the consequences are very serious.
Agreed.
Your employees, your business, and then the thing is, the health of the business will immediately suffer, because the mental health of the owner or the sole proprietor is that he's focused on not doing the business, and he's struggling to
Doing the compliance.
and battling
Agreed.
something which could have been avoided if they would just keep their books clean and
Agreed.
simple.
Agreed.
Thank you so much for coming.
No,
to
thank you,
Mira Business FM.
Muzammil, for inviting us, and it's been a nice experience, and looking forward to such more energetic, I would say, topics as well. Also.
Thank you, Muzammil. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
the
Man.
meeting.
Thank you. Harpreet.